and I'm going to leave you till Monday to come back to me. If you decide not to do anything, I'm not going to argue with you. That's your choice. That's your choice. I'm going to send you the recording over in about 20 minutes. Maria's going to construct an email and send it to you.
So you might need to send it through the WhatsApp.
Also, I understand you don't want none going through an email because for whatever reasons. Let me get this sent over to you with an email.
No, listen, I said this to you before. Let's get the information and we'll see what I can do. I'll try my best, okay?
Thank you very much, Mike. God bless. Take care. After that point, you mentioned the MP, Alan Gemmell. So after they'd handed the tape, I'm obviously thinking, right, well, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Can't you even make part payment for the methodology, asbestos or anything like that? As soon as Mike got the tape, he done what he done a year and a half ago, blocked me. Which, I'm looking at me, missus going, this is, like, you couldn't even write it. And that's when I'm engaging with Phil Saxton, saying, Phil, what's going on? And he's saying, Dave, you've just got to understand, there's a lot going on, there's council meetings and he can't just answer to you all the time. I said, no, if you can't answer to me, Phil, you don't have to block me. I know when someone's blocked me. You could just message back saying, this is going on or that's going on, David. If he says it take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I would have left it. But he just didn't want to engage with me again, which straight away made me feel, right, I'm going to have to go my own way anyway and put the story out myself. So that's when Phil said he got someone with the papers and he'd get Alan Gemmell to get in touch with me. And they were, what now looks and appears to, they were softening the blow on trying to help me, or it appears that they were doing it, but it just looks, when I look back now, as they were just pushing me to the one side again.
They were saying to you that they would help you facilitate how to work best to get your money that you were owed.
Yeah.
And then the best answer was to go through the papers to,
Well, again, they were all going back to what Mike said. And Phil was saying, listen, we've had a chat with Mike and the best option would be, if you put anything in, they're probably right, Martin's going to oppose everything. Yeah. Now, I don't know still at this point, politically, what kind of role a head of the council is to a CEO. I've never really got involved in that. So I'm still going off what Mike, for my own freaking stupidity, still believing what Mike and that are saying. Like that he couldn't give contacts out. He's saying it was all on Martin and this, that and the other. So I'm just getting led down this garden path that this is the right way to go about things. But still, it was my tape and it was meant to be my story that I've done all the work and he've agreed I've done the work and I'm on paying. That was my opinion of what was supposed to happen. And also, obviously, I had to speak to the reporter and different things were supposed to go on, which I asked on numerous occasions and nothing was forthcoming.
But no one would give you any contacts with
No, I had a message again off Phil. I've given him your number from the paper. He's going to call you just to check everything's all right and check the validity of the story in the tape and check that your story gets put forward and this, that and the other. And same with Alan Gemmell. Nothing coming then.
So when was it the first time you heard that the article was going out?
It was Mike Newell. All of a sudden, after so many weeks of not wanting to speak to me, sends me this message with a little smiley face and a little wink. I think you need to put the papers tomorrow. Page 7. And I remember I text that straight to Phil Saxton. Something looks like it's going to happen here. And all of a sudden, because I remember it was the night of the boxing, Eubank and Bet. And I remember looking at Maria saying, because obviously she's been down for a couple of years. You've got to understand the pressures of someone working in a square room day in, day out, and then every month, every single penny, every bill get paid out. She couldn't even get her hair done or nothing. I wasn't aware of that at the time. I was aware that my story was going to be out, and it was going to facilitate a payment for me working for the council, top and bottom of it, until the next day, until I read the newspaper.
And then how did you feel once you read?
I just looked at Maria as though to say, I'm not for this world. I just thought, I'm up against it again. I thought, it doesn't make no sense. There's not one bit about me. It doesn't mention me. Apart from the fact no one phoned me in and they were given permission, it doesn't say nothing about me. It was all just, councillor leader in tape recording thing, slams other councillors and this, that and the other. It was all about how bad a person Martin was, and not about the fact that I work for the council. Now, bear in mind, Mike had said, we've got to get this out to make sure you can get paid. The story was not, it wasn't even about me.
Yeah.
It was just about a different agenda, basically.
The tape, it wasn't used as what you would expected it to be used.
No, definitely wasn't used as what it was expected of.
And
The tape, from what was said in the tape, you could tell that it was edited in different ways. There was bits of the tape that didn't match anything. It was just a bit strange. It was making out that I was best mates with Martin, and he was giving jobs for the boys with Martin. It was clear to me by this point that there was another agenda going on, and it wasn't my agenda, and it was definitely to either out Martin for something else, but definitely wasn't used for any gain on my part.
you were in this meeting with Mike, with Catriona Kays, with Lindsay McRoberts. They told you if you gave the tape over, you would get your payment. You gave the tape over. What, did you get any payment? Did you get any for the...
No, it just got shut down again. And then that's when it got to the point where I thought, you just get so frustrated with everything. And I've got Phil Saxton saying, Dave, you can't keep phoning him, you can't keep doing this. He's not going to answer. You've got to understand there's meetings going on, Martin's getting done, this is going on, that's going on. It takes time. I said, hold on a minute. It's an opening. I think I'd been told by someone in the council by this point that Mike can authorise payments. He can override something if there's special measures to prove it. So I'd gone back to Phil at this point. I'm saying, listen, Phil, this is bullshit. He can give contacts out and he can make a payment. He knows my circumstances. He knows how it's affected my life. He could make a payment and he's not making a payment. There's something not right here. And at that point, what it was is Phil started going on about the asbestos and trying to say that if I could prove that I'd done this, that, and that. I was like, I'll prove it. I'll give everything. Give everything. I said, Dan, took the photos, all the evidence is there. And he said, no, but there's just one more thing. He said, even if we got that, he's got no reason not to pay you the asbestos if you get the receipt. Now I got the receipt, found it, and through evidence, took me days to look for it. And I sent it over to Phil Saxton. And then he just sent me a message. I can't speak to you no more. It just kept, even when I was saying to Phil, listen, Phil, even you spoke to Mike, and you at one point, I thought he was helping, and then it just seems like when he's engaged with Mike, I did get a message off him once, or a phone call. I actually phoned him off a friend's phone because he blocked me. And that was the time when it was coming down with an email that I was going to send to all the councillors. And I said, listen, Phil, there's a few things going to happen today, but I want to know why you blocked me after the initial contact. And his exact words were, Dave, I was fearful with my job from Mike in that, because when I engaged with them, I got pulled into a meeting and got told I was asking for too many FOIs to help you out, and if I didn't disengage, then there'd be issues between us. And that's what he said. And then it's obviously he's converted to working on the dark side. In that kind of position, to be so disrespectful and so dismissive of bearing in mind I'd sat with Mike and had many meetings with him, and he knew my story, and he knew my story from when I wasn't getting paid, and he knew how it affected where his had worked for my wife, my family, my kids, my grandkids. He knew all that. So for me, it's disgraceful what he's done. And so at what point, Phil must have convinced him to get on the phone, but he brought a guy called Kevin Braidwood onto a phone call, which I've got a recording of. And I fronted Mike on the call saying, you've told me in every single meeting you can't give contracts, and I've got people telling me you can. So just once in your life, tell the truth. And he ends up saying, I did give St. Ninians out, but I give it to the agency. And I was like, okay, but you still lied. You've lied to me over even the fact that you can give direct awards out. You just basically admitted you can on the tape. So Kevin Braidwood on this tape is basically saying, I've got the file in front of me. So I'm saying, well, if you've got the file, just click to the side. The last page where it says who signed it off, it's not hard.
Yeah.
And again, Mike refers to Dave. I know you're trying to just relax and calm down, but Kevin's here to try and do a job and this, that, and the other. But even if he's got that, we'd have to go to our solicitors to check we can hand that information over due to GDPR and all that garbage. And I'm thinking, he's just full of it. He's just covered. And I knew then it was Mike. I knew it. Yeah, and again, it was a couple of days after that Kevin called me back direct. At the legal meetings with you, they haven't recorded anything. So if you can prove they've done their meetings and you were in their meetings, they may get suspended. And then we obviously don't want no issues from the outside, i.e. special measures. We want what's best for the council. And we would be in position to pay you and just get you gone, and that's it. So that's when the next stage started to come forward, whereby I had the proof of Catriona. She mentioned in the email that she'd had the meeting with me, Mike and that, if we get the tape. And then I got Lindsay McRoberts, when I went to council again, to admit on a tape that she was in the meeting. So the plan then was to send all the documents to every single councillor so that they would make a decision, maybe out them and get them suspended. So then a second option might add another bite at cherry to get paid. But that's a different story.
You obviously had Alan Gemmell, you were in contact. Did he keep in contact with him, or did he
he's
stop
blocking
communication?
Alan Gemmell, after the newspaper article came out, he's blocked them as well. I've got messages of particular councillors. Catriona will defend Mike for whatever, and there's definitely something going on. And whatever you say, we're terrified for our jobs, but you need to get them both out. And you need to do that by proving that they've been holding illegal meetings, and that was the way forward. Just going back into the council buildings now. Yeah, I did sign in earlier on, but as you see, hold on, there you go. Yeah, signed in earlier on to see Mike Newell, and you've obviously took it out to the signing in book. What?